I just felt like I finally found a friend.
And heroin was that friend.
Tough love is scary, but it works.
When the junkie's telling you go to the doctor, that's how you know it's bad.
Oh no, they're gonna have to cut off my arm. I always say mental health is proactive, not reactive.
I was in such a low vibrational state. I saw everyone as an enemy. You've been to jail, not prison.
I've been put in handcuffs quite a few times. When you realize just how terrible jail is, I feel like you have some sort of compassion towards people. And this is why probation's the biggest racket out there. Whoever came up with that racket is a certified genius. I'm not some hardened criminal, dude. I didn't do hard time. But when I tell you what they do in jail, whatever the hell they want to do.
Welcome to the Creator's Origin Podcast. We're back. I'm your host, Jack Faith. I'm here with Sam Wages Johnson. Is the wages because you make a lot of money?
The wages? No, it's my mother's maiden name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's actually Waggis.
Waggis.
Yeah.
Stick with wages. It sounds stronger.
Waggis.
So awesome. We're here. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
We've been planning this for a year and a half.
At least.
Yeah. And
Can we cuss on here?
I think it's acceptable.
Ish. Okay. All right. I don't want to cuss too much, but yeah, we've been talking about this for a while, long while.
And I mean, really, I've been wanting to sit down and have deeper conversations with you since we met, which was when we filmed my first short, Parte DM, and I cast you in a role in that.
Jerome.
And I remember at the time seeing you as such a I know this word is kind of gross now, but in my mind at the time I would describe as alpha, and I would consider myself still a boy at that time. I think I've reached man status. What do you think? Have I graduated?
What was that? That was
almost 4 or 5
4
years
years
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a while back. So
Yeah.
I was like 22, 23,
Yeah.
something like that. I guess maybe it was 6 years ago. I'm 28, but anyway.
It was wild.
And I saw you as, this is a man. This is someone who takes care of himself, looks good, feels good, treats others well. And I thought, man, I want to be more like that. But what I came to realize later is that that was the result of a lot of struggle that you went through. More specifically, like heroin addiction and stuff. Some pretty wild stuff. Like, wow, okay. So it wasn't a cakewalk for him to get there. So tell me about your history with heroin addiction. What was that experience like, and how did it make you the man you are today?
Yeah, it was wild. Like, as you were saying, I was just a little snot-nosed kid. I just didn't treat people well. Definitely didn't treat myself well. And it's wild to think that addiction can be used to change your life. I got strung out really bad on heroin. Started with pills at first, but, as the saying goes, heroin is much cheaper than pills. So, started off with pills. I was never really a big drinker. I would drink, but it was one of those things that I never enjoyed alcohol. So when I did drink, I would get hammered, right? And then, of course, with that came the cocaine. Really enjoyed that for a while. Yeah. Really enjoyed that. But even that really wasn't my speed. And then I found a buddy of mine, his brother had a prescription to painkillers, really strong painkillers at the time. And like the first time I took one, I snorted one actually, I was like, oh God, this is it. This is what I've been missing in life.
How did you first enter into that world? Like, what was your introduction to the world of drugs?
Well, it was, I think at the time, I never really felt like, as we all do, was going through some things at home, right, with my parents. And I felt like I really had nowhere to turn to. And, the good thing about, not the good thing, but I felt like I finally found some sort of an escape. Like, I could get high and then go home and deal with whatever. I was just numb to everything. But, eventually 1 isn't enough, 2 isn't enough, 3 isn't enough, 4 isn't enough. And before you know it, you go from being, just taking pills, snorting them, whatever, until, you just have a full blown heroin addiction. I just felt like I finally found a friend.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to describe it.
And heroin was that friend.
Yeah. Heroin was that friend. Where I'm from in Gwinnett, right outside of Atlanta, it just became really kind of like the capital of doing heroin.
Mhm.
Like everybody was doing it,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things that, I don't come from the ghetto. I don't come from a single parent household where we were on welfare. It was actually quite the opposite of that.
Yep.
It was almost like I had too much access, not really enough struggle. And I just didn't know how to process things. I had no idea how to be healthy. I had no idea how to manage emotions, work through problems. I had zero concept of it. I thought just as a man, you're supposed to tough it out, never cry, never show any sort of emotion, and hold it all in. And I did do that. And, and it almost cost me my life,
Yeah. How many years
100%.
clean are you now?
So October 4th will be a decade since I've done dope.
Okay.
A decade. So
And
yeah.
for the people doing it, dope would be
Heroin.
Because I thought that was kind of an
Heroin.
over-encompassing
No, yeah,
term.
no,
Dope,
not
I
like
know.
the dope in the 70s term.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was October 4th was the last time I did it. And, it was wild. I remember it had gotten to the point where I had all my little schemes, because eventually you have to become a criminal to support your habit.
Well, everything becomes in service to the addiction, right?
Yeah,
And
like
it's-
your addiction becomes everything.
and you can't really. It's hard to trust anything that person says because they'll do anything to get that next high.
Oh, yeah. And that's what people have a misconception. If you're addicted to, and I mean, specifically, it always seems like heroin and pills just kind of takes the cake. Like, I mean, I was going to steal from anybody I could. I was going to rob anybody I could. And I did not care whatsoever. Like, I just did not care.
So, is there a particular story of when you robbed someone that you want to share? Like I don't know if
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any funny, goofy
No,
robbery stories.
Well,
but
thank God this happened before Ring cameras were a thing.
yeah,
Like, I'll tell people this: you lock your sliding glass back door. Lock your sliding glass
Right.
back door. You would be amazed at how many people do not lock their back door.
I see.
Yeah.
So it was more of like a home burglary. Maybe I don't know. Maybe if you
Yeah, I wasn't- I
might-
wasn't-
I don't know what the statute of limitations on this.
Yeah,
Maybe you don't want to
no.
confess.
I
to
check.
this.
Can we check on that?
Yeah.
Can we check on that? Yeah, I was not a gangster by any sort of the imagination.
You were just trying to do what you saw and what you knew in order to.
Yeah, you
get
just have
by.
to get whatever you can, however you can, and it's surprising at how resourceful one can be when you want something.
So, was it a particular instant or situation you found yourself in that caused it to be like the last time you did it, or is there a series of maybe the most intense situations? Like, what would you say is the most intense situation you were in that made you go, "This shit, I should not be in this world"?
So I lost my best friend in September of 2013 to overdose. He overdosed. We had his funeral at my funeral home. I'm going in and talking to his family and then running back into the bathroom and doing my thing, getting high, coming back out. And kind of after he passed away, I was like, well, I just don't care anymore. You think it'd be the opposite. You think you'd be like, oh, Jeff died. Like, maybe I should chill out. But it wasn't. It was like, I'm going as hard as I can, as long as I can, and whatever happens, happens. And, it got to a point where what had happened was you can help an addict reach their bottom quicker when you stop enabling them. And what would happen is, like, I could always go to my parents, give them some sob story, get something from them, always had a place to stay. So it's like this. I had someone reach out to me not too long ago. Their son's struggling. And I'm like, okay, is your son still living at your house? She said, yes. I'm just like, okay, so you're not kicking him out. Well, no, I don't want him to be on the street. I'm like, okay, I'll put it to you this way. He would be stupid to quit doing drugs. So he can go do drugs, go do whatever he has to do, come home,
Got a cozy little spot.
cozy house, breakfast, lunch, and din-din.
Sounds like a good deal.
That's
I'm like,
he'd be stupid
I'm
to
like,
stop.
I'll sign up.
He'll
Yeah.
be stupid to stop. Now, this is where it gets very serious is, if they did kick him out, it could get to the point where he passes away.
Right.
But as we were talking last night, addiction is nasty. So recovery has to be nasty.
So you're of the mind that they have to reach bottom in
Oh, you
order
got to
to
reach bottom. Yeah, you can, that we talk about when I went to treatment, people were either there because they wanted to be there, they were there because the courts made them be there, they were mandated, or they were fam-dated. They were made to go there by their family. I've seen people that were mandated by the courts that made it through and are successful. And then I met people there that were there because their wife or their parents made them go, or they were going to be done with them. And I guess some of them would be successful, but without a shadow of a doubt, the people that make it are the ones that really want to go there.
And what's the sign for a family member, a friend, or someone who cares to basically say, either kick them out or say, I'm done with you until you figure this out?
Well, it's so tough if you're a parent or if your spouse or someone's, in addiction, because it's a fine line between love and codependency. It's a very fine line. But a lot of people, you just have to trust your instincts. If you see a drastic change in the person you love, if they're all of a sudden, if you have a great relationship and then out of nowhere they've completely changed, if they lost weight, if they have sores on their arms or scabs on their face, if they're just doing stuff that is completely out of the ordinary, something's up. Something's up, and you don't need to ignore it. But it's tough because denial is a very powerful thing. It is extremely powerful. And I think, just as my family was, you don't want to believe that like your loved one is in a heroin addiction. No one wants to believe that. But tough love works, and it's scary. Tough love is scary, but it works. And when my family put their foot down and we're like, dude, you're out of here. I want your garage door opener. I want your key. Like, you're done. That was really the first time where I was like, dang, I gotta change. I gotta change. So I cashed out my retirement fund from the funeral home.
Okay.
And I remember I got a check for $3,600, and I spent it in about 2 weeks. And I remember thinking to myself, if I can't be happy in 2 weeks off $3,500 doing dope, like, I can't be happy doing this. So what had happened was I really was, because it got to a point where I was doing my petty crimes and I was like, okay, look, I'm about to have to, what they call penitentiary chances. You ever heard of that?
No.
So penitentiary chances are like you were going in to do something knowing that if you get caught, you're going to prison.
And with the goal of going to prison.
The goal, no, it's just a likely outcome.
So you're just accepting.
You're accepting the fact that there's a chance that this doesn't go well and you're going to go to prison.
Yeah.
So it got to a point where I was like, okay, I got to up my criminal activities.
Okay.
And what I was doing, I figured I'd get probably, 1 to 4 years in prison. And I was like, man, I will not do well in prison. I would not do well in prison.
No, nor would I. They'd be like, bring me that cute little ass.
You wash my drawers. You don't wash my drawers. And I kind of looked around and I was like, dude, at that point, I probably had at least 15 friends pass away from mostly heroin. At the time, we just thought it was heroin. We never heard of fentanyl before. And I couldn't find anything. I didn't have any money. And I made it to, I think, like the second day of detoxing. And I was upstairs at my parents' house. Didn't go to a hospital. Didn't get IVs. Didn't do any of that. and I would go into a little closet I had, and I'd have my Coke cans. Because what people don't know is you don't need a spoon. You just take a Coke can, flip it over, and it's like a little spoon. So I had a bunch of those Coke cans up there, the tall ones, the tall boys. And what people will do is, you need cotton to draw it out of the syringe. Like you put the dope in there, squirt the water in there, mix it around.
I've watched Breaking Bad. So.
Yeah. And so what happens is you keep those cotton balls for a rainy day.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can go back in, put the cotton balls back on the Coke can, put water, and you can draw some stuff out of there.
It's kind of like filling up a Gatorade with water, or your shampoo with water to get like the
like the ketchup bottle.
Not that I've ever done that.
Yeah. So I did that, and I realized like there's nothing left.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing left. Like you're going to die. Just like Jeff, just like all your other friends, you're going to die. And the thing that I was able, looking back on it, I was blessed to see is that I just saw the pain that caused their families.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just saw it firsthand while I was working their funerals, right? I was like, man, before I die, I just want to give it one last chance to really turn my life around and just give it one more shot. And backing up before that, I was really bad at shooting up. I was just bad at it. So
like not very good aim.
I was terrible. I mean, it was comical how bad I was at it. And I woke up one day because you'll get these sores on your arms, and then I remember my buddy telling me like, no, you just gotta, it's not funny, but you got to ice them.
He's like giving you tips.
Yeah, you got to ice them. And I remember doing that, but I kept having one sore right here. And I woke up one morning and there was like a golf ball inside my elbow.
Yeah.
Like it looked like someone had to put a golf ball under my skin.
Yeah.
And we went to get more stuff that day, and I showed it to him. And he was like, my buddy was like, you got to go to the doctor. You got to go to the doctor. And I was like, it's not that bad, dude. It's just an abscess. And
when the junkie's telling you go to the doctor, that's how you know it's bad.
Yeah, he was. And then I'll never forget this. Have you ever seen Requiem for a Dream?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Remind me.
So Marlon Wayans is in it. I think it's Marlon Wayans. Came out probably like in 2000, 2001. It is a messed up movie, but a good movie. And we were driving. I remember the road we were driving down, and he goes, you got to go to the doctor. I was like, man, I'm not going to the doctor. Because in my head, I thought that I'd go to the doctor and they would call the cops and they would come in and handcuff me and, take me away for doing drugs. And he goes, do you remember Requiem for a Dream? They're going to have to cut off your arm. And I was like, oh no, they're going to have to cut off my arm. And he goes, you got to go to a doctor. He said, I'll pay for it. And
by the way, that's a pretty mild reaction for learning you're gonna get your arm cut
off.
You kept your cool on
I
that
did.
one.
I was just like, oh God, man,
like, not again.
Oh, dude. And I was like, man, I'm not going to the doctor. I'm just not gonna go. And this was a few months before I went into rehab. It was summertime and it was hot as hell in Georgia, and I was just wearing long sleeves around. So I did what anybody in that situation would do, and I YouTubed it. How to get rid of an abscess.
Oh my goodness.
I just YouTubed it.
Okay.
And I'll never forget, I was watching a video and it said you have to lance it. I'll never forget that word, lance. You have to lance the abscess.
What does that word mean?
Just cut it open.
Right.
Yeah. So I was like, I got it. I'll just lance it.
Yeah.
I'll take care of it.
This is like your new vocab word. You're using it with everybody.
Yeah,
like, just lance it.
Like, guys, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. So I went back home. I'll never forget, my parents were cooking out on the grill. Summertime. I had a long sleeve shirt on, and I kept thinking, like, God, they're going to wonder, why are you wearing a long sleeve shirt? It's so hot outside. And at this point, I'm down to about 150 pounds, sores all over my arms, bruises. just in terrible shape. And
You're lanced as fuck.
Lanced, yeah. Like I should just lanced my life open.
Yeah.
And
So there was something you mentioned about you'd never been in prison. You like, or
been to jail, not prison.
you've been to jail, not prison. And so we were watching Better Call Saul last night, and there were a couple scenes that popped up. You know, the cop interrogating the guy, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, the whole good cop, bad cop type of thing.
Good cop, classic. Good cop,
How?
bad cop.
What was your experience like? How accurate are TV depictions?
Well, I mean, I was only in there a night both times,
Mhm.
so I've been put in handcuffs quite a few times.
Yeah.
But I was really smooth at the time, or I was under 18, and that helped out.
Yep.
But when I got arrested in Statesboro, I was hammered drunk, dude, hammered drunk, and we get I'm on the way home from the bar, and I'm just stumbling down the street, and of course this cop pulls up behind me, and I got arrested for public intoxication, and they took me into the jail there in Statesboro, and I woke up, and I could just smell like rust, the rust metal. And there was this dude, this crackhead, who would not stop blowing up the bathroom. So we were in the holding cell, and he just would not stop blowing up the bathroom. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on? And so I yell at the dude. I'm like, hey man, you better stop taking a shit. Like, I'm not gonna smell this. And then
because it's all in the same.
yeah,
holding
you're in a
cell.
holding cell. Yeah, so there was like 20 of us in this small room. There were
Yeah.
2 bunk beds. I was on the top bunk bed, and as soon as I say that, I hear this person go, Sam? And I was on the top bunk, and underneath me, this dude pops up, and I'm like, Joey? And it was my buddy I went to middle school with, who I hadn't seen in years. And
Fancy seeing you here.
he stole a cop's golf cart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of a fun crime.
Yeah,
That's it's like goofy,
It was
funny.
kind of funny.
Yeah.
And but they
Picture him running after the golf cart.
and it's one of those things. The first thing you realize once you get in jail is they don't give a damn about you. Like all rights you have as a human being are out the window.
Yeah.
Like they do not care. But they would not give me my phone call. I mean, they just don't give.
If
a
you don't
shit,
have a
dude.
lawyer present, if you
Oh,
don't
they
have
don't care,
someone,
dude.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit. And I don't think that people that have, again, I've never done hard time, but I can always, when people say stuff about people who are in trouble or anything, I can always tell them like, oh, they've never been to jail. They've never been to jail.
Like, how do you mean? Like, what's the tell?
Because when you realize just how terrible jail is, I feel like you have some sort of compassion towards people.
Right.
Like not a lot of compassion, but you definitely have more compassion as opposed to being like, oh, they should go to jail for 50 fucking years.
Yeah.
They should go to prison for 20 years.
Yeah.
You know,
Lock them up. Throw
oh
away the
my
key.
God, dude, it's terrible. And I was in there, and the thing was, they wouldn't give me my phone call, but Joey had his cell phone on him. They never frisked him. So I was like, man, I'm not calling my parents right now. And the only number I knew other than that was my ex-girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So I hadn't talked to her in a while.
On good terms, not so much.
Not well, I mean, you know.
You know how it goes. Yeah.
But she was in Statesboro at the time too. She was down there at the time
In the
too.
same jail cell.
No.
Oh, that would have been a twist.
That'd have been cool.
Sam?
You could have locked me up with her for life. Yeah. And so I called her, and I was like, hey. And she was like, who's this? I was like, it's Sam. And she was like, what? I'm going to talk to you. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning. I was like, hey, I'm locked up. Can you call my sister? For some reason, I thought that like my parents would never find out. Right.
You just rot away in there forever.
Yeah, or I'd get out and I would just be fine. And so she was like, and she's so cool. She still loves me to this day. She does. And so she called my sister, and they started the process of bonding out. And one by one, everyone started to leave the holding cell, because I guess if they knew that inmate wasn't going to get bonded out, they were going to put him in general population. And my buddy Joey left, the crackhead left, and it was just me and this younger white dude, redneck dude. You can tell he's straight from Statesboro. And we just start talking. He's a real cool dude. We're sitting there at the table just chopping it up and talking about things. And then eventually we get to why we're in there. And he's like, yeah, no, man, some bullshit. They're trying to say I did stuff to my niece. And I was like, oh, God.
I already fully trust this guy just based on the accent.
Get me out of
Yeah.
here. And he was like, man, they tried to say, you know, I did these things to my niece, but I didn't do it. And I was like, oh, God, dude, you got to get me out of here.
Yeah.
So it was kind of strange. Like I finally got bailed out, and then I go up there, and the cop, this is the time we had flip phones. This is like '08. We had flip phones, and the cop's sitting there at the desk going through my phone, and he's just looking at it like this, and he's like, hey, man, who's Catherine? And I was like, that's my sister. And he was like, she loves you a lot, dude. And then just closed my phone and then handed it back to me. And I was like, oh, thanks, dick.
Yeah.
Just going through my phone.
All up in your business.
Yeah.
So yeah, they don't give a shit. They don't give you.
Dude,
your
they
phone
do
call,
not
they go through
care.
your
They
stuff.
do not. They do like that's what people. And like I said, I'm not some hardened criminal, dude. I didn't do hard time. But when I tell you what they do in jail, whatever the hell they want to do, if you go, and this is the thing, if I go out and tell people that, everyone's response is like, well, you deserve it. You're in jail. It's
What are you
like,
doing in jail to begin with?
Yeah. Which, I mean, I guess is fair to an extent, but dude, it's a different world there. They'll do what they want when they want to whoever they want, and they will never get in trouble.
So you never got like interrogated. You never got.
No, that was I pled out to that, put me on probation. And I ended up passing all the drug tests, Not like I've failed a bunch of drug tests when I was on probation before. I was on probation, I think about 3 out of 5 years. I was on probation from 17 to 22. I think 3 out of those 5 years I was on probation. And, I moved back to my hometown, and you had to take all these drug classes. So that's when I really started getting bad on pills.
On like drug classes on like how to better do drugs, like
they'll
strategies and tips?
like what you do when you get put on probation. You know, they'll give you all these classes. So you'll have, and this is why probation's the biggest racket out there. You'll have probation, you have money. So let's just be real. A lot of people who get arrested and on probation they're not financially free, right? So the courts and the government love probation, because when you're on probation, you have to pay your PO every single month. They'll force you to go to these classes. These classes are not free. You have to pay for these classes every single month.
I've heard this as well. If you're on a house arrest, you have to pay for your ankle monitor.
Oh,
like all
dude,
these, it's all out of your pocket. For people who don't have money.
Whoever came up with that racket is a certified genius, because it's just nonstop money for the government. So what I did is I got my probation transferred back up to my hometown, and they gave me a list of drug classes I could go to, and I sat there and called every single one until I found one that did not drug test. It was a DUI school, and I went and completed that. And then, yeah, that's when it really took off, because it sucks so bad, you know, for a lot of people, because weed stays in your system for 30 days, but the hard drugs stay in your system for like 2 or 3 days. So people on probation, you know, they can't smoke, but you can still do crack, coke, heroin, meth, and it's all going to be out of your system in a few days, if that. So you can still get around it on probation, 100%, unless they do random tests. Then
you're obviously very aware of your mental, physical health, your spirituality, your relationships. Let's kind of get into that. How do young men balance all of that? How do they keep on top of all that to make sure they stay out of the drug rings, out of the crime rings?
Yeah. I always say mental health is proactive, not reactive. But what a lot of people will do is they will wait until, it's like the best metaphor I ever heard. Relationships are like cleaning your room. if you clean your room up little by little, when it gets dirty, you never get to a point where you're like, oh my God, my room is so dirty.
How am I ever going to clean this?
Exactly.
Just, clean as
So
you go.
mental health is proactive, not reactive. And what a lot of people do, and I mean, I'm guilty of myself of this to this day, is you just sit back and let life beat your ass.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just kind of sit back and take all the punches, as opposed to learning that you can punch too. Like, you can throw hands too.
Yeah. And I did. I hit women, children, like anything, whatever it took to get me happy.
Okay. Proactive.
So I relate to what you're saying, because I was in a state, it was 2-something years ago, where I was in such a low vibrational state. I saw everyone as an enemy.
Yeah.
I saw everyone as like, because my room wasn't in order, literally and metaphorically, I saw everyone and everything as like out to get me.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And it wasn't until I got back to a good high vibration state of mind where I realized, oh, that person was on my side. That person was on these side. All these people that I thought I went, oh, fuck them because X, Y, and Z. No, they were looking out for me. Not all of them. There are a few where you look back, you're like, maybe I give that person a little too much credit.
That guy.
But more often than not, people are there for you, not against you. It just you got to see it.
Yeah. I mean, and I feel the same way, and especially I think a lot of addicts feel that way, where you're always looking for someone's angle, and I think that's because for a long time I had an angle. So it's like that guilty conscience of like, well, if I got an angle, by default, I know they got an angle.
If I'm a thief, that guy's got to be a thief.
Exactly.
If I cheat,
exactly,
my partner's got to be cheating.
As opposed to people just being genuinely kind. There are people out there that are just genuinely good people that have good hearts, that like to help people. And that was kind of the one thing I saw at treatment is, we'd have all these volunteers come in and they just like giving back. They didn't have an agenda. But like you were talking about, when you have a guilty conscience, it's always going to be in the back of your mind of like, what's this person's angle?
Yeah. It's some Tony Robbins clip where this blew my mind the first time I saw it. He's talking about close your eyes, look around the room, or no, you can't look around the room when your eyes are closed. I fucked that up already.
You hear me? I would say, I go, and
yeah,
I was like,
you're like, this is not making sense. No, he's like, look around the room, count all the things that are red.
Yeah.
Now close your eyes. How much did you see that was green?
Yeah.
Like, not that much. Okay, now look at all the things that are green. Now close your eyes. How much did you see was green?
Yeah.
A lot more. Yeah. You probably saw even some things that were kind of greenish gray, and you called them green just to be successful.
Yeah.
So whatever you look for, that's what you're finding. And this is so often the case with friends and family or people close to you that you're trying to give feedback to in some way, and it just you can practice for hours how you're going to say it.
Oh yeah.
And your strategy going into it, and the words you're going to use in the flowery language. But all it comes down to is the state of mind that they're in and whether they're willing to receive it.
Yeah.
And you could be walking and be like, I'm nailing this. This is going great. And they're there fuming. They're like, fuck this guy. I'm fucking hate. He doesn't know me, yada, yada.
That was, that was one thing that I had to learn coming back from treatment was, I was in treatment for a year, but everyone else in my life wasn't. There was a 99.9% chance that they're the exact same people they were before I left. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but just as humans, we could all get better every single day, right? So the way it was described to me is that you're going to have to deal with the fact that, like you said, you can practice the speech or whatever you're trying to do, but when you get there, you can't control the other person. You can only control yourself in the way that you're reacting, the way you're talking, the tone in your voice. Like your dad was saying last night, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And one thing that has helped me, and I feel like um, people that are close to me have figured it out, is I've just proven it through my actions over the last 10 years of like, hey, like this is what I stand for. And people will feed off that. Like, I think a lot of people, will, I don't know if they'd ever admit it, but they might, in my life, they might be like, damn, like Sam actually nailed that on the head.
Yeah.
But you prove it through your actions over time.
Well, it's something that I think people struggle with, which is social credits, because people tend to look at an action or interaction in a vacuum, but you have to take into account the history and what kind of social credits you've got with this person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if hey, if this person has always been looking out for me, they're probably looking out for me now, and
Yeah,
vice versa.
exactly.
If I see them all the time screwing other people over and calling out hits on people, then I should. They're probably doing the same to me.
Yeah. It's like, it was like what the Bible says, a bad tree will never bear good fruit, and a good tree will never bear bad fruit.
That was like a math equation. I could hardly follow
yeah.
that.
Close your eyes and look around the room.
Oh, yeah, exactly. What about like your relationships come into play with this, focused on broad relationships, but like romantic relationships? When you were in the height of your addiction, were you in any place to would a relationship have helped or hindered you?
It would have helped me to an extent because I'd have another person to rob. You know what I mean? Like, and there's no telling if we went to her parents' house what they got in the medicine cabinet.
Right.
So that's where like my mind would have gone to that.
Yeah.
But it was to a point where, when you're waking up every day and your focus is, the drugs were my God. The drugs were my end all be all. It was the love of my life.
Yeah.
Like it was my girlfriend.
Yeah.
It was my fiance. It was my wife. And I think some people, I just think, I don't know if other people's weren't as bad, but I hated myself so much. I didn't really want to be around other people to a large extent. But relationships were just out the window because I knew deep down what I was doing, and I was, being a piece of crap. And I just knew I would destroy any relationship I was in. And I did.
Yeah.
100%.
It's funny because I think for me, relationships were my addiction.
Yeah.
At one point,
absolutely.
Because
absolutely.
as a adolescent, kind of high school, very young man, I wasn't exactly like super successful. So when I got into my my mid-20s and that kind of thing, and I've got a beautiful girlfriend, a lovely dog now, but at the time I was like looking for fulfillment because I was not fulfilled myself.
Yeah.
So I was looking for fulfillment in all of these other relationships, and I'm like, oh, I'm kind of charming, and I'm reasonably handsome now, and it's like I'm like making up for lost time, for
the bluest eyes,
the whitest teeth.
eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you hit it on the head. If I think a lot of people, the way that I would go about it is I was never fulfilled. I was never working on myself. And, when you have a really hot girl make you feel good, you become addicted to it like that.
That's a drug in itself.
Like, oh my God. And I don't mean hot, whatever to you is hot, right? I don't mean like stereotype. I mean like, but whatever to you.
Just whatever tickles your fancy.
Exactly. You're fancy. But when you can't give that to yourself and you find that person that is willing to give it to you, you 100% become addicted to it.
If it's, whether it's for a month or a week or even a day, you're like, I'll get my fill with this. And I think, now that I'm in my late 20s, just all of that stuff seems so empty. And I think one of the mistakes that I made a lot when I was younger is trying, anytime I would meet any kind of reasonably attractive girl, they were a dating prospect. And that was the first thing I saw them
Yeah.
as. And that closed a lot of doors for me because one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to be successful and have some kind of romantic interaction with them. And once that fizzles out or once they meet a guy or whatever, and that's done, that door is kind of closed for the most part. Or they're going to reject you. They're not going to be interested, in which case that door is also closed.
Right.
So this is what's funny is that for young guys, attractive women can unlock a lot of doors for you if you don't try to just hook up with them.
Oh. It's true.
And
it's true.
And I said that to a friend of mine who replied, they're like, "Oh, so you mean just don't objectify women?" I'm like, "Yes, but that's not compelling. That's to say. And if you're talking to someone you want to change their habits or change how they interact with the world, you need to frame it in a way of like, how does this benefit me?"
Yeah, and I think a lot, like you were saying, a lot of that just comes with maturity. You realize that, like, first off, you can't hook up with every girl in the world. Second off, it would be terrible if you did. Right, right. And then you kind of see them, you know, and it sounds cliche, but it's true. You see them kind of for who they are as a person. They just happen to be attractive. The way that, like, a good thing that, you know, I kind of went through in treatment was I was the most judgiest person ever. Like, I would judge anybody who wasn't raised the way I was, you know, and I would, in my mind, I would just think of like the worst things. The only reason I judged them is because I was judging myself. Like, I didn't love myself, so how could I love someone else? I didn't respect myself. How can I respect someone else? But then when you realize, you know, that people, no matter what they look like, no matter, you know, what size they are, whatever, you know, we all come from the same God. No matter if you do not want to believe it or not, it is 100% the truth. And everything, I don't know, people just have, what I was going back to when I was in treatment, I just thought that, like, if you weren't around my age, didn't look like me, there was no point in me even talking to you. And let alone looking back on it, the people that have helped me become healthy and well, like, they didn't look anything like me. You know, did not go to the same church, didn't have the same interests, but they were just...
They're ugly.
They were just good-hearted people. And when you can just sit down and connect with them on a human level, you just like, wow, I did not expect you to blow my mind like that.